Continuing the series on species of Farscape, we turn to the Luxans.
You know how Luxans can be.
Do we know? We meet only 3 Luxans in the original series. Dargo, of course, the Orakan Nilam, and Kor Tosco, an ambassador. As usual, Farscape shows us only what we'd see if we were actually in the action without extra exposition. What do we know about the Luxans? I'll explore what we're actually shown. Nearly everything we know about Luxans comes from Dargo, so we need to be careful not to assume that what is true about him is true for all Luxans. In the premiere episode, Dargo describes himself to Zan as,
You are but a boy.
I am not. I am a Luxan warrior.
and because we saw Dargo run around yelling and smashing things, we fall into seeing him and all Luxans as being the stereotypical science fiction warrior race. But of course, Farscape is too smart for that, and it loves smashing science fiction cliches. We shouldn't assume that Luxans are Klingons, despite similarities. The rest of that clip does show that Luxans are feared.
Luxan? We're fighting a Luxan! Terminate plasma! Terminate plasma attack!
So there's something to the Luxan warrior thing. But what that warrior society is like, we never learn other than Dargo's bluster and a few hints of an honor code.
I cannot lie to an opponent in battle.
It's mentioned without details that the Luxans fought wars with the Grisolians and the Scorvians. We never hear anything about Luxan politics or society. Dargo never even mentions his homeworld, his childhood, or his relatives. The other 2 Luxans also tell us little about their people. The episode with Nilam is the Star Trek-like trope of powerful force threatens the ship, and about Luxans reveals only that they have spiritual wise women named Orakans who have some nifty powers. Kor Tosco gets at most a minute of screen time, but we do learn that the Luxans signed a defense agreement with the Peacekeepers against the Scarans, which to me indicates that the Luxan territories are near Scaran space. How vast they are is unclear, but Commandant Greza indicates the Luxan territories are rich in resources. Alright, I know you want to hear about the Luxan tongue thing. Yes, Luxans can incapacitate their opponents with their tongues, but can still speak normally. Well, that's all we can say about it. True to form, Farscape shows us, but does not explain, how the tongue thing works. Nor does it explain much else about Luxans. When wounded, the blood must run clear or risk fatal infection. Then there's hyperrage.
You're dead.
It's been 3 days. He still can't be freaking like that.
It's Luxan hyperrage. It doesn't just go away.
You were wise to hide as you did, John.
And at least about this we get some small explanation.
He mentioned something about hyperrage causing blackouts. He said that all Luxans get them.
Blackouts during hyperrage can do happen. Luxans are genetically violent. Their impulses, chemistry, biology, it takes cycles to master. It's why Luxans aren't allowed to marry young.
As Dargo says, Luxans are prone to violence, but he shows us that Luxans are also capable of being loving and peaceful. Dargo is unusual for a Luxan. He did marry a Sebacean, after all, though we never learn quite how unusual he is. We meet a few more Luxans in the Peacekeeper Wars and the comic books, but all soldiers. There have to be Luxan civilians, and every Luxan we meet is male except for Nilam, and there have to be Luxan women. We just never meet any. So we really only get to know one Luxan, but fortunately for us, that Luxan was Dargo. Hopefully soon we can meet some more, perhaps even Dargo.